everyone, my name is Nur Husna, and today I'll be sharing you a little bit about Teach Ag Malaysia. I'll be sharing about agriculture education in Malaysia, a little bit about Malaysia itself, and also a little bit about the process of becoming a teacher in Malaysia. So welcome to my session. Malaysia is located in the southeast of Asia, and it is approximately around about 10,000 miles from Malaysia to the United States. Malaysia itself consists of two separate lands. One is Peninsular Malaysia, and we have here the East Malaysia. So that's about 11 states in Malaysia, and we have 2 states in East Malaysia. Malaysia is a multicultural population, composed of mostly Malays, 50.1%, and we have 22% of Chinese descendant. We have about 11.8% indigenous people. We have about 6.7% Indian descendant, and we have other people. So the Chinese and Indian descendant came to Malaysia in the 14th century, and they've been to Malaysia with when the British came, and they've been there since for the 14th century until today. So the government of Malaysia is a federal democratic constitutional monarchy, meaning that it's a combination. We have a king, a supreme king, which is called Yang di-Pertuan Agong, who had all states in Malaysia, and we have a prime minister who is the head of the government. Religion of Malaysia is Islam. Other practice Hindus, Buddhists, Christianity, and other indigenous religion. Mostly Malays are Muslim, and the official religion plays a big role in the education system. For example, Muslim students in public school are required to cover up. However, the non-Muslim are not required to cover up as the Muslim student. Let's watch a short video about Malaysia, and we will continue after this video.
Malaysia rests between mainland Asia and Australia. The country is composed of 2 non-contiguous regions, one on the Southeast Asian peninsula and one on the island of Borneo. The 2 parts are approximately 400 miles apart, separated by the South China Sea. Some ethnic groups in Malaysia, including Malays, are originally from the Southeast Asian region. Others come to Malaysia ultimately from China, India, Pakistan, and other parts of the world. Malays practice Islam. Other groups follow Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, or other religions. West or Peninsular Malaysia shares its northern border with Thailand. To the southeast, bridges across the narrow Strait of Johor connect the country to Singapore. The center of Peninsular Malaysia is mountainous and mostly blanketed by rainforest. Rice, tea, rubber, and oil palm farms cover much of the remaining countryside. Fishing is important in the towns and villages near the ocean. Malaysia's capital and largest city is Kuala Lumpur. Kuala Lumpur is a busy, modern city with towering skyscrapers, crowded highways, busy shopping centers, and large universities and colleges. Kuala Lumpur's skyscrapers are among the highest in the world. Banking is concentrated in the city center, while technology industries are scattered across the suburbs. East Malaysia includes the states of Sarawak and Sabah and the island of Borneo. To the south, East Malaysia borders Indonesia. To the north, it surrounds the tiny coastal country of Brunei and is otherwise bounded by the South China, Sulu, and Celebes Seas. The biggest cities in East Malaysia are Kuching and Sarawak, and Kota Kinabalu and Sabah. Outside of these cities, rainforests cover well over half of East Malaysia. Because fewer people live in East Malaysia than in Peninsular Malaysia, the region has fewer roads and no major railways. In the areas farthest from the coast, it is most common to travel by foot or by small boat. Many families live in small villages that often contain one or more longhouses, which are somewhat like long 1- or 2-story apartment buildings. The residents usually grow rice and vegetables, fish in nearby rivers, and hunt in the surrounding forest. Many East Malaysians work for timber companies, for which they harvest trees, ship logs, and make boards to be sold in the cities. Still others work on offshore petroleum platforms that supply crude oil and natural gas to refineries in both East and Peninsular Malaysia.
Alright, so in the video, it shows the two land in Malaysia, the Peninsula and the East Malaysia. You can see the development in both land are a bit different. So in the Peninsula Malaysia, it's developing, it's more developed compared to East Malaysia. This is because Sabah and Sarawak joined Malaysia in 1963. So it's still new. So they are still trying to develop as much as possible in the east side of Malaysia. So also in the video, it mentioned the major crops in Malaysia. One of the major crop is palm oil. So it used to be rubber. When the British came to Malaysia in the 14th century, they opened a large scale of rubber plantation. However, because of the world price of palm oil, a lot of rubber trees are now replaced with palm oil. So the second largest crop in Malaysia is tea. Also, we produce a lot of rice, and still we have some rubber. Fishing is also important, especially for those villages and town which is located nearby the ocean. Agriculture contribute to about 12% of Malaysian GDPs. However, only 6% of Malaysians are working in the agriculture area. That's why there's a transformational in the technical and vocational education, especially in agriculture, to help attract more younger generation into agriculture. So next, I'm gonna tell a little bit about the history of Malaysian education. So the earliest schooling system in Malaysia is known as the Sekolah Pondok or the Had School. It's a Islamic religion school that was the first form of schooling in Malaysia. So when the British came to Malaysia, they bring the secular school. It's an English school. So the first English school was built in Malaysia in the 15th century in Pulau Pinang. So today, the education in Malaysia is overseen by the Ministry of Education. So today we have about 2.7 million primary school students, and we have about 2.2 million high school students. So the education system in Malaysia is about 12 years of education, starting from preschool to 6 years of primary school and a 5-year for high school. So we're going to talk a little bit about agriculture teachers in Malaysia. In Malaysia, the agriculture component are formally taught in school in one of the curriculum called Living Skills. So let's see the development of agriculture education in Malaysia. So in some literature, it tells us that agriculture has been in school, but in a non-formal system since 1917. However, only after the independence of Malaysia in 1957, agriculture are introduced in a formal setting in Malaysian school system. So in 1965, agriculture science, it's a pre-vocational curriculum, were introduced in the school system. So it is this ag science is a pre-vocational curriculum. So it is aimed to create more human resources and to create more people to be involved in agriculture job after the independence of Malaysia. However, the ag science was not successful because not many people are interested in agriculture at that time. So the program will close only after 5 years being introduced in the system. In 1983, the government introduced a curriculum called the Living Skills, and agriculture is one of the components in this curriculum. So in 1983, it was introduced to primary school students. So basically, they have to learn the basic knowledge and skill of agriculture. And in 1989, living skills were introduced in high school, and those kids also have to learn the basic skills and knowledge in agriculture. So in about the year 2000, the government introduced another agriculture curriculum, which is called Ag Science. It is more science and technology oriented type of curriculum, and it's an optional course, so it's not required to all students. Only school who are interested to have this curriculum could have ag science in their school. So to open more option in agriculture, in 2002, the government introduced agriculture vocational courses. So there's more option for agriculture in school, and it's still optional to students. However, it gives school more option of what type of agriculture education they want for their school. So a little bit of the topics, what they teach in school. So at the age of 10 to 12, the topic or component of agriculture taught in school are ornamental plant care, ornamental fish, and vegetable planting. At the age of 13 to 15, we have ornamental plant, vegetable planting, and pet animal. And for ag science, it's optional. They required more work in the laboratory, such as soil science, tissue culture, and for the vocational agriculture optional, the course is more broader. They have a lot of option, including aquaculture and agriculture mechanics. Well, let's take a journey to the process of becoming an agriculture teacher in Malaysia. So, being a teacher in Malaysia is a lifelong career. So you started to decide to become a teacher after you finish high school. So a person who decided to become a teacher, they have to go to a few process. Once you complete high school, the person has to apply to the Ministry of Education. So you send an application, and today it's an online application to the Ministry of Education saying that you are interested to become a teacher. So if your application is accepted, you'll be sitting on an exam called MATC. MATC is the Malaysia educator selection inventory. So it is composed of about 300 questions, and the applicant have to sit for the exam for 1 hour. So in 1 hour you have to complete 300 questions composed of psychometric question of your IQs and personality tests and basic mathematics and others. So if you pass this test, you'll be called for an face-to-face interview with a selected panel. Most of the panels are professors in education department from public universities in Malaysia. If you fit for the program and pass the interview, then the government or the Ministry of Education will place you in any teacher preparation center in Malaysia. It could be in Peninsular Malaysia, it could be in East Malaysia. The teacher preparation program usually is a 4-year degree program. After you completed the teacher preparation program, again, Ministry of Education will place you in any school in Malaysia. So you could be placed in Peninsular Malaysia, or you could be placed anywhere in East Malaysia. And usually, the teachers in Malaysia will be in school or will service in school until the age of 56 or 58. So that's about the journey to become a teacher in Malaysia. So a few steps, you have to go through a few steps, and I would say 50% of the people who apply will be successful in getting a place in the teacher institution. Well, I think that's all I want to share in my session. Thank you for listening, and see you in next session. Bye bye.